All right, welcome to the Killer Radio Show on RiverWestRadio.com.
What up?
Jason's eating
That's
food.
Jason's muffin. Hi.
Jason.
We're coming to you live every Tuesday from River West Film and Video on RiverWestRadio.com. You can tweet the show at Cast the Killers, hashtag Killer Radio.
Yeah.
You can email us somewhere too. I'm not really sure what that
Email
is.
us, tweet what you want me to eat next on the broadcast.
You can also call it.
Please tweet nothing. Please tweet nothing. Hashtag Killer Radio. Hashtag Stop Eating on the Mic.
Don't let him influence your thinking.
You're listening to Often the Thinker. That's what's in the background. Drew Lumberg from Madison, Wisconsin, by way of Brighton, Massachusetts, or the other way around, however that works. But this album just came out. His first full-length album just was released, so it was premiered on the Killer Radio Show. So it's been dropped. You can go out there and find it. I want everybody to go out there and Google Often the Thinker, or find it on Facebook, and you should be able to find your way to one of his albums.
Sell albums. Where are those?
Yeah, who needs them?
It's called your computer.
I really suggest you go out and get it. It's really cool stuff. So thank you to Often the Thinker.
It makes you log on to iTunes and get it. Go out there.
So welcome to the show. Jason, how was your muffin?
It's delicious. You have no idea. I am in the October spirit.
Oh, really? Because I'm eating gluten-free peanut butter cookies made by Eric's girlfriend, Sarah. Thank you. Friend of the show, Sarah.
Yeah.
Finally.
No, I'm Mike.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is
you
what
graduated
sounds
from
like.
acquaintance of the show to friend of the show.
They're pretty good.
No,
I
they're
mean,
really-
I don't get to eat cookie. This is probably the first cookie I've eaten in, like, months.
Wow.
Like, literally months.
You're welcome.
And for you, that's quite a stretch.
Not really. Like, I don't eat a lot of cookies.
This is the first time he's had a cookie in months.
And this is how I look. So we had a good show this week. We've got, what is this guy's name?
Professor Pinkerton of Dead
Professor Pinkerton of Dead Man's Carnival.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a unique and magic individual.
Do you guys know
Mad
this?
tricks.
Do you know him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does know magic tricks, I presume, right?
Not
Now I'm
because-
like really close to the mic and my earphones are. I can like hear my mouth getting around.
You can hear the crumbs on your mustache.
Yeah, I can hear it. It's awful. This is why I want you to wear the headphones so you know how awful you sound when you eat.
If I knew how awful I sounded, I would stop.
That's the
Again,
point.
that's why
that
he
is the
wants to-
point. That is
Oh
the
no,
point.
I've got it.
That's a good look for you, too. The crumbs on the sweatshirt. That's good
Yeah.
for you. Yeah.
Jason, what's been going on? You've had a better week this week, I presume. I haven't
Did
talked
get
to you since
robbed.
then.
I have all of my stuff.
You went a full week without getting
It was a
robbed?
good week.
You robbed somebody else to get back.
Yeah, right?
I burned something in effigy.
So, yeah, how was your weekend, you guys? What did you do this weekend? Any shows?
Sherman Perk rocked it. That was some
Sherman
good
Perk was
stuff.
great, yeah.
That was definitely
I headlined.
Oh, well, it must have been good.
murdered.
Yeah. 25 minutes.
That's great. That's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Was
And,
it like
Rob G murdered, too. Holy cow. Rob
Yeah,
G
dude.
killed.
Rap G? I don't know him.
He's an
Is he
awesome.
local?
Yeah.
I almost got the hook. I almost did that. That was nice. I think I seduced a black woman
Yeah.
on a couch. She hated me at first, but then she came over to the dark side.
Yeah, she's
Actually,
into
it
you.
kind of was the other way around, if you think about it.
Oh, yeah.
But it was nice.
Yeah.
No, it was a good show. And afterwards, oh man, we effed around so hard.
Yeah.
it was like
You and this woman?
not us. No, she left.
Oh, okay.
Before.
Just you?
Yeah, just me in the bathroom.
Yeah,
Basically. I had
after
such a great time. We should have recorded
So
that for
hard.
the podcast.
Yeah, we were thinking about podcasting Sherman Perk. That
That's
would
not a bad idea. The guys out in Madison do the Method Behind the Madness podcast. You should check that
We're
out.
all about ripping off everything that they're doing
Yeah,
successfully.
why not?
Yeah, right.
I feel like if we did something successful, they'd try and rip it off, you know?
Yeah.
Turnabout is fair
big
play.
F there. Big F.
Yeah, right. No, we actually we're gonna do a show down there, right? Mr. Hillman, we're gonna do a show. We're gonna do the Project Lodge show down there, which I've done before, which I'm a big
Yeah, I've
fan
done
of.
that before. It's great.
Quit bragging. This is about us.
They moved though recently, right?
It's not going to be.
Yeah.
It's not at the project.
It's not Prolo.
Yeah, it's not.
But it's still called that.
It's still Prolo, but it's not at the Prolo.
Oh, it was called Prolo.
Yeah. So look for details for
It's
that.
not called Prolo.
I'm
The
just gonna
space is called Prolo.
just gonna mute you while you crumple that bag over there.
It's a sweet
I fucking
Seagrams.
choose to crumble.
Seagrams. That's a good choice of beverage there.
You know what? I'm glad you brought this up because I bought the mineral water that was on sale. Wait.
Sorry.
That was worth it.
Sorry.
When I listen to this tomorrow, I'll laugh with you. But right now, I'm trying to finish the story about my mineral water.
I'm done. That's it. That's the best joke of the first.
What did I miss? We're gonna have to wait.
You can't. You got to rewind.
Yeah,
Well, I want to live it in the moment.
At least
You're my favorite comic working today.
Good thing your mics are way down too. I hope whatever comedy gold.
good. I'm back.
Great. Now you can eat the whole time. Yeah, I bought the cheaper mineral water, and it's not as good. It's like the bubbles are smaller. I'm like, I didn't know that like they could do that with mineral water. So let me say, LaCroix is my favorite mineral water.
I've said in a long time.
You don't like mineral water?
I love me some mineral water.
Yeah. What's wrong with you? Is this a Gentile thing? You don't like mineral water?
I don't.
No, LaCroix is cream of the mineral crop.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. If you're out there.
Oil myself.
Mineral oil.
Yeah. I feel like mineral water would be a great like somebody to do promotions on our radio show.
Yeah.
And this brought to you by LaCroix. Are you too poor for soda? Are you too fat for soda? Are you poor and fat? Mineral water. LaCroix.
Not boring enough for water? Right?
Not boring enough for water. Do you like things to taste like cranberry, but not very much? LaCroix. Mineral water. I'm not even sure what minerals are in there, to be
This
honest.
show brought to you by 50/50.
Oh, man. So, yeah, I had an interesting weekend. I did a show for the Cocaine Anonymous Wisconsin Association.
Yeah, it was awesome?
Pretty high energy crowd, if you can imagine it.
That one, you've been waiting a while, haven't you?
No, actually, they weren't very high energy,
Blew
which
them
is sort of
away.
weird. You'd think they would have been really open because they had spent the
Were they
entire.
arranged nicely?
Yes, they were arranged nicely. Their noses were open to a lot of comedy.
Everybody looked really nice because of all the mirrors. Everybody looked really
Yeah,
nice. Really good
Yep.
appearance.
The sound really bounced around in there.
Wait, more. There's got to be at least 3 more.
I'm sure there
10
is.
seconds.
I don't know. Cocaine. It goes in your nose. Yeah, it was really interesting because like they had spent the whole day doing, and this I'm not kidding. Not doing coke because it's Cocaine Anonymous. So. I'm not kidding that I did the entertainment segment of the Cocaine Anonymous Association.
It was you.
It was
Damon?
me, Damon Millard, and Ryan Lowe. And if Damon's listening and you want to call in, it's 414-935-2951. Call in and talk about it. They were a little tight butthole. You would think that like the Cocaine Anonymous, after spending the entire day like talking about the worst things that's ever happened to them, they would be able to like just laugh about something. But I think that was maybe a bridge too far. Like they were a little
Taking themselves a little not as seriously.
Yeah. I think they were kind of like they were afraid that maybe.
They're this close to like trying to find an 8-ball. So,
Yeah, I think that is true. That like it's getting to be 10:30 at night. They're in a place they don't know. They're in some seedy hotel down by the airport.
But they
Like,
can't find hookers.
but they can't do coke. Yeah, it was weird. I've definitely had a good time though.
Hookers? Never.
They were very open to being made fun of. Like they wanted to be made fun of. But as soon as you did like a racial joke or a joke about being poor, I think that kind of like really took them out of it, which was interesting.
It reminds them of how they lost their entire family on the streets because of their cocaine.
Yeah, I know. I stayed away from jokes that really hit on that. But
Strange marriages, right, guys?
but it's sort of it left like
Custody battles. What? Right, am I right? No. Shit.
Oh, I tried to catch it.
That was a metaphor.
Jason dropped his cookie and Eric swatted it. But it made all your jokes about yourself. You know, comedy do a lot of jokes about like self-deprecation.
Yeah.
Where like if you're starting a joke off about like oh, I'm getting kind of fat, you know, like they're like, yeah, well, like so am I, and like I lost my family. You know, it was like, oh, yeah, my joke just ends with me kind of feeling bad for myself. So just hang with me here.
I'm pretending to be my brother when he's rich.
Yeah. It was weird. I did write some cocaine jokes though, just to do. I addressed them as the Coca-Cola shareholders meeting when I walked out on stage. They did laugh at that.
Yeah.
It took them about 10 seconds to get that
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, really? Like,
Beautiful.
That's fine. And we got to do comedy in front of a huge banner that was like the 12 steps of cocaine, or the 12 truths of Cocaine Anonymous. It wasn't 12 steps, it was like 12 truths or traditions, I want to say it was.
Do you know what any of them were?
Don't do coke was definitely one of them. Don't do coke was definitely one
It's
of
gonna
them.
be like step 1, right?
Yeah.
Or
That's
truth
actually
number
step
1.
4.
Step 1 was don't buy coke.
Don't buy it.
Yeah, step 2 was definitely don't do it.
Don't buy
Even
it.
if you buy it.
Don't hang out with people that do it.
Yeah.
Don't go to bars at bar close.
Yep. Don't
Don't leave your house.
go to 80s night.
Don't go to 80s night. Yeah.
I do think that if you're somebody who's
disco,
recovering
yeah.
from cocaine addiction, like it might seem crazy.
Was that music to do cocaine too?
10 crack commandments.
10 crack. I don't think that's.
Are you posting that on?
Listen, this is not about crack. This is about coke. There's
That's right.
obviously a difference.
There's
Yeah.
a difference. But
Have some class, Steve.
There's a class. Fuck you guys.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
they
you're
were all
doing a
really
class
classy.
Drug, I mean, like,
Mike swears,
I would
Steve
get less
agrees.
jail time.
More jail time.
More.
No, if I smoked crack, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. Of course. Either way, as long as you're in jail, I'm happy. So there was
That's funny.
like they definitely had a sense of humor about themselves. The fact that they were like recovering cocaine addicts.
Yeah.
Like one girl was wearing a shirt that had like a white dog on it.
Just shirts.
Oh.
What?
No, I'm listening. Go on. White dog.
She had a white dog on her shirt, and her shirt just said, "I effing love cocaine." Like that's what it said.
Was she in the front row?
No, but she was like the first one to greet us after the show. She was like, "Oh man," like she was clearly the merry prankster of the group, you know, wearing her "I effing love cocaine" shirt. And Damon was like, "Oh man, I like your shirt." She's like, "Yeah, I totally love cocaine. I just don't like the consequences." Like just like hilarious about herself to like sobering like realization in a split second. It was crazy. It was like, oh man, tell you what's a lot of fun, going out and doing coke with your friends until your friends die. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't even know how to talk to her. I was like, I just hope that she stays happy for like 10 minutes.
You know what's crazy? Like, growing up, my mom had that talk with me. She was like, Eric, you know, I don't want you to do any, like, your super hard drugs. And she, like, told me this story about, I'm pretty sure it's made up, but she told me the story that in college she knew a girl who bought some coke and apparently it was laced with crushed light bulb glass.
Sure, that's like an urban myth.
Yeah, and she like snorted it and like instant brain hemorrhage dead. And so I was like, wow, I'm never doing that ever. Like, it worked, Mom. It worked.
Yep. Until he did it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was like, whoa, is she kidding? This rules.
Yeah, the best my dad could do was tell me a story about doing acid and coke at the same time and realizing the woman that he had been with for like 2.5 years, they went on a date, and because he was so messed up, he realized that she probably shouldn't marry her. So he's not sure if he should tell me not to do drugs or if he should tell me to only do drugs when it comes to determining who I'm going to marry. So I've got a very confused lesson happening in my brain.
He's like, only do if you can handle it, man. Like, that's terrible advice, Dad. Yeah, man, you don't want to mess with anything that's going to open your mind up unless you're ready. Tell me one thing, Jason, are you ready? I don't know why your dad is Sam, whatever, the guy from the Coors commercials. Jason, let me tell you one thing about doing acid. You're going to want some Coors on hand. The banquet
No, that's
beer.
what happened the last time I did acid. It was a terrible experience, and they tried.
Not enough Coors?
After it was over, they tried to like stuffed me and the other person I was there with me with into like a van, and then they tried to go pick up ugly girls and then like a bunch of paps and wanted to go drinking and get explicit.
Like
To try and,
after doing acid?
Yeah, after doing. That was the
Oh,
thing.
that's not good.
I was like, I'm gonna just drop me off. I'm gonna go watch Pixar movies and cry myself to sleep. So that's what
Yeah.
I did, and that worked out nicely.
and they all got laid and
I
drank
found-
beer. So
Right, and I don't think I would have not had a good experience doing that. Because I would then would have cried on an ugly girl, and that's just the saddest thing ever.
Yeah, it
And,
is.
With paps.
that would have been like your
That's a
first solo album.
Right.
Jason Hillman crying
Or
on an
my
ugly
solo
girl.
gallery showing, like, all of a
Yes,
sudden,
yeah,
like,
yep.
oh my god. I have to
That
express
time the physical joke worked on because you wept the thing.
it. Yeah. Oh.
Nope, that one didn't work. Jason hit his head on the thing.
This was just painful for my.
So they were the people at Cocaine Anonymous were they were very gracious to us, and I think that they were super nervous. I think when we first got up there that we might be over the top or whatever. And you know Ryan Lowe definitely.
Did he open?
No, I opened.
You opened.
I opened, which was nerve-wracking, but I had fun.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Lowe, who, like, when he lost the audience, he called them all assholes, which I know I'm not supposed to say, but it was funny. It was so funny that like these people had spent the entire day like opening up to one another, and then when they didn't laugh at a guy, he called them all assholes, which I think was really like sobering for everyone to be like, wait a minute, we can still be jerks even though we've been at this conference trying to better ourselves like all day.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I wonder what kind of Damon got in trouble for trying to bring a beer in. By the way, I didn't mention that yet.
Sneak a beer in.
No, he tried to just bring it in. Like, this is cool, right? It's Cocaine Anonymous, not Beer Anonymous. And then they're like, no, like a lot of these people might be recovering
Was that a
alcoholics.
conversation? Was that like literally the conversation that was had?
Yeah, did he?
No, he was really apologetic. He was like, "Oh, I didn't know, because like I didn't know if I could bring it in." I was like, he didn't know if he could bring it in, but he was definitely trying to bring it in. You know?
I didn't know if I could, but I thought I could.
Yeah, but hey,
I mean,
give.
how much? This isn't for all addictions, right? I'm high. Can I get in here? Like,
Damon went up and did 45 minutes though, like did his time, and
Did he do well?
he did do well.
Yeah,
And
awesome.
I think it was tough because the people
That's
were
Damon's crowd, right? That's Damon's crowd.
a little bit.
Whoever it
Yeah,
was,
yeah. I mean, those people must have been exhausted, after laughing their buns off at me.
right.
Not from the day of, gut wrenching, soul crushing.
Yeah, crying on
Or
shoulders.
Yeah,
thinking
crying
about all
shoulders.
their coke contacts.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Or their wife.
So that was interesting.
That's better than coffee. Thinking
That's cool
about the
though.
things we've lost.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Expressive, emotional
The
expressive.
guy who sort of set it up and was introducing us and stuff, he was really cool too. He like they all had lanyards. Like if you go to a hotel, sometimes you see people have lanyards on.
Like a conference?
Yeah, they're like, oh, Northwestern Mutual, or like, oh, I'm here with the YMCA. Like these people had lanyards on that just said like, I have a problem with Coke.
Yeah. Just a huge Coke straw.
Yeah, like this lanyard is to signify that I have trouble maintaining myself around cocaine.
If I ask you for drugs, don't give them to me.
Like I was waiting for them all to be like, we're going to the pool later, But I did say this
Stay in
though.
our hotel room and watch HBO.
Yeah,
That's
I
what's
did.
going on.
I did think that like
Boardwalk Empire is great.
they probably hook up though at this conference, right?
But nervously.
Do you think
Like,
so
there's a lot
though?
of nervous Twitch sex there.
Because like I don't know if that is off.
Yeah, but nothing like really intimate. It's just a lot of.
Well,
like, crazy
what
Chuck
conference
Palahniuk
sex is?
What's that? Coke sex?
No, I mean like. At what
sex.
conference is the sex really intimate? You know that people are hooking up at the Northwestern Mutual
But
conference.
I feel like they're all doing it pale, like it's a bunch of pale faces and sweaty skin, and
Yeah.
like, it's all greasy and sad and angry.
No, they weren't. They didn't all look the same. Let's put it that way.
Uh,
But like, I would think that like,
It was like a perfect mix of black and white too. It was like 50-50. And that's the perfect mix for me.
that sounds like the perfect.
It wasn't like it was pretty racially diverse and ages were pretty diverse too. There was people who looked well younger than I was, and there was people who were much older.
did like every single one of them smoke cigarettes? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I bet you like.
Oh, yeah.
They were like,
They all did.
intermission place empties out.
Yeah, because when we got there, Damon was like, "Gosh, I really hope people show up in this room." And then like I was like, "Well, I guarantee they're all smoking
Yeah.
right now." And you went out front, it was just like there must have been like 40 people out there,
Yeah, yeah.
And like that, and it was funny because we were out there,
Cigarettes and sugar cookies.
and guys were like,
That's
all right,
really-
what time does this show start? Like they were already talking about the show, which is cool. Most of the time, people are outside a show who are smoking are talking about how crappy the show is.
Yeah. So what's going on later, guys? Like.
Yeah.
Totally.
Have you ever done a show for a crowd that, like, have you done a corporate show that was maybe a specific crowd ever?
Didn't you and Damon do a what was that? The one where you guys like battled or whatever? I've heard that story before. What was that for?
Well, that was actually that was for a 12-step program. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was
That was when you guys first started.
Oh, what was it? Glorious Men or Fantastic Men or whatever it was. It was a 12-step program that a woman that was coming to our open mics and introduced us to. And I'll just summarize the story this time because I think I've told it in elaborate form earlier in an earlier broadcast.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we were in a contest there, and it was for a 12-step program. And right before it started, it was like we had the most somber introduction ever. It was like, all right, guys, we're gonna get to the comedy, but beforehand, let's have a prayer to all of our addictions and all of the things that we've lost and all of our brothers that we've lost along the way.
Jesus.
Let me just read off their names now.
Yeah. Wow.
Let's thank the people that were there for them.
But let's not forget to give it up for Jason Hillman. Is that how it
Right.
ended?
And halfway through it, that was also the show where the guy was like, all right, let's get these white boys out of the way so we can get to the show. Oh, that was a good time.
Well, what we had to follow was called, it was a presentation prior to us. It was called Out of the Darkness. So that was what preceded the comedy. So I consider
Out of
we were the light.
Into Damon. That's good.
Yeah. No, I just went up there and told some stupid jokes about nothing, which I think helped to segue into Damon telling jokes about himself that were a little more dark, which I think got us through the night with a good show.
Right, you tickled them before you told them he was molested.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes. So that was pretty fun.
That's awesome, yeah.
I voted, you guys.
Yeah.
Think about it. Democracy. This is what democracy looks like, right here.
I'm gonna vote early tomorrow in my Halloween costume.
Are you voting, Jason? Or are you not
Yes,
gonna vote?
I'm voting.
Are you gonna
Steve,
vote
are you
day
voting?
of?
Steve's still not
Steve
voting.
Breeze still not voting.
Hear that, Obama? He needs another couple
And I know
phone
you're a
calls.
listener, Obama.
Yeah.
Mr. Obama. President
Hey,
Obama.
no phone calls yet.
Yeah, because they don't know you exist.
Yeah,
No,
right.
you have a landline though. That's surprising. I would have thought with a landline you'd get like non-stop political phone calls.
They just,
They just know you're not voting. Yeah. No, worth the time.
they read my Facebook updates.
They read your. Well, this is a good off-mic conversation. But Jason, you are gonna vote. You're gonna vote day of.
I'll vote whenever I damn well please.
You should vote early. It's the
should vote
bee's
after.
knees.
You should not tell
You
me
should
how
vote
to
later
think.
afterwards.
I'm not telling you how to think. I'm telling you what's gonna be more efficient.
Orwellian.
It's more efficient to vote early.
Yeah, because on Tuesday you're gonna be waiting forever.
No,
in
actually,
line.
I want to go the day of because I like observing people in line. I like waiting in that line.
Oh my God. Let me tell you, when I
I
was
take pictures. People won't even notice because they're half asleep.
there,
That's what democracy looks like, a bunch of shuffling zombies packing themselves into the basements of schools that are barely used to pull a fucking...
Oh, whoa.
not us people with initiative that go and vote early.
I'm
Take
gonna vote
that.
tomorrow in my Dracula costume.
Right on.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Metaphor for democracy.
Speaking of people,
Zombies,
Yeah.
right?
How it's
speaking of people acting strangely at the polls,
Yeah,
Jason,
that's exactly it. That was
we can't hear you guys. We cannot hear you on the mics. We cannot hear you. I don't know why this concept
We're
hasn't
clapping
been.
for Steve getting something.
Yeah, I don't know. People who can't hear Steve, apparently he did something. I don't know. But speaking of the people in line with me, there was these two people in front of me when I was going to vote early, clearly like right wing. I'm not just saying that because they were
Wingspan.
dressed well and white, but they were like, oh, apparently you don't even need to show an ID.
They had their anti-abortion posters with them.
It wasn't even that. It was like the Republican talking point of voter fraud being, everywhere. Like they were like, oh, you don't even have to show an ID to vote. I wonder
Which
how many
is a
times
really
people
clever
are
way of
voting.
going, all these black people can vote too?
Yeah, like that's exactly what it felt like. I was like, it was
This is
exactly
not the
what.
America I signed up for.
Like they were doing that smug look and then like, I guess you can vote as many times as you want.
Oh, fine, all right,
Like
Tyrone
who's
can
gonna
vote
waste
too.
their time with that, buddy?
Driver's license to anybody, apparently.
It's just one district too. It's not like for you to actually perform voter fraud to any degree where it would affect an electoral college vote, it would have to be like systematic.
Yeah.
You would have to like hack the system to do it.
What's
Like
that movie, Black Sheep? Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus, God. Yeah, that's a really good example.
but they don't commit voter fraud in that. Is
I
that
thought
what
they
it is?
did. I thought they did.
I thought it was just that he was
I thought
embarrassing.
they were like registering like people that had been dead for like hundreds of years to
Well, in
vote.
Florida,
Maybe,
they were...
maybe that is like the turning point in Black Sheep, but I don't know how many people can remember like an hour and a half into that movie.
in Florida,
Please tweet in if
right
you-
here.
Target audience for Black Sheep in
So basically,
2012.
The Cast of Killers comedy show or radio show is going to be doing a field trip to Eric's house to watch Black Sheep and come back to you next week.
Yeah.
And Tommy Boy. We'll watch them back to back.
Why would you watch both of them? They're the same movie.
It's kind of...
We'll play clips and you have to pick which movie it is.
No, we'll play the audio to Black Sheep and we'll play the video to Tommy.
There
Boy.
we go. There we go.
No, we'll play the music from Pink Floyd's
Yeah.
Brick in the Wall, and then we'll play that over Tommy Boy while playing this... No, we'll just not watch Black Sheep. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
that's a good
terrible.
idea. Let's just not watch it.
Yeah, I'll just watch it.
Can we just watch?
I'll
Can we just watch the best of Chris Farley? Or can we just watch that? That'd be
We
fine.
could. I don't know. I guess we can do whatever we want. Speaking of, you should vote. But yeah, people in line at the voting thing are obnoxious and horrible to be around. That's why you should do it early.
Are
Because
you playing something we can vaguely hear? On
you don't have to be around very often.
I'm playing Black Sheep.
Yeah. That's the part when he's like, kill Whitey.
Hey, you know what's better than us talking into the mics about anything? Listening to Black Sheep off mic.
Yeah.
Out of earshot. Out of earshot. It's a great job.
Great movie, though. It's a great movie.
You were, yeah. I was
What
joking.
you doing? I'm doing
If there's anyone that's been
Whatever.
guilty of systematic voter fraud, it's been the Republican Party, and like that's like widely documented. In Florida, they were training people to only sign up people that would vote for Romney, and then taking voter registration forms that said they would vote
Yeah,
for
that
anyone
did
other than Romney,
happen.
just tearing them up.
Really?
And so then they fired them, National GOP.
Those people got their vote. I mean,
But then they rehired a different company that was started by a different guy. It's
I'm trained the same way.
yeah.
yeah.
So there's
I didn't know that happened. That's
but that happens all the time. Everyone
Whoa,
wants
Eric's
the
mind
person-
is blown.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Really? That
yeah.
your mind is blown.
really people take advantage of stuff politically. I didn't have no idea.
People
It's
use
just-
double
I'm waiting,
coupons?
I just can't. I can't wait for this to just be over and then nothing to change and then
Yeah.
us to get back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Ugh.
You know what I mean? Like I want ads.
Wait, you complain about people being zombies, and then you want
I want them to be zombies.
then you want them to all
something
get back
else.
to their regular scheduled program.
Regular zombies. I want them to be regular zombies. I want this fucking zombies to get back to eating
that's like the-
Pop-Tarts and shopping at Abercrombie.
We gotta watch
Fitch
we gotta watch
and
the
knowing me
swears,
in
guys.
regular,
We're
normal
over our
ways.
quota.
I don't want the zombies telling me that I should vote for a guy that's gonna like try to if my wife gets raped, force her to have a baby. If my friends who are gay want to get married, want to tell them that it's wrong.
Yeah, like then you should fight against that.
Yeah, then you should vote.
Yeah, then you should vote. Like, I don't know what you're saying.
But then they're gonna stop talking about it. Then they won't
I'm
care.
tired of having these beliefs.
I don't want to.
Oh, it's such a burden having a moral compass. Oh God, and having to exercise my beliefs through voting.
I
Ugh.
was just a way I could express my beliefs.
But
on
then
one
Yeah,
day.
with, like,
isn't a
checking
way
a
for me to
box.
express my beliefs, and you goddamn well know it. Oh, come on! If you're gonna try and tell me that your moral compass points you towards the democratic process as it stands right now, then you have a busted ass.
No, but I mean, like, I can choose between one or the other, and that's the one
That's
thing
my
you can
quota
do.
right there. Sorry, what's that?
So I mean, you know enough to know that one is better than the other, or one is worse than
same as the old boss.
the other. You don't really believe that, though.
The Who said it. I believe anything they say.
The Who? All right.
The who? Wait.
Well, then, let me
not
just say
really
this.
believe that. I think one or
Don't
the
get
other-
fooled again, okay?
Yeah.
I didn't think
Boom.
that we would get fooled again, and
Better,
then bam, there was George W. Bush shitting
Sharp-
all over everything that's good about
Were
this
you,
country, all over
Eric
the
Schwartz-
country.
Sharpen your pinball skills then.
That's what I say. Yeah. It's the best it ever
Oh,
was.
get fooled again! Yeah, we will, actually. That's kind of our habit. That's what we do.
But you're going to go vote. What Are you voting
Sure am.
third
I'm gonna
party?
take pictures and then, huh?
Are you one of these third
I'll
party
write one
voters?
in.
You look like a Roseanne Barr kind of guy.
Yeah, Roseanne.
Is she running?
Yeah,
my
yeah,
lady
she is.
friend, yeah.
Well, you don't follow her on Twitter? What do you mean?
That's
You
some
don't follow her on
stupid
Twitter?
stuff.
That's stupid stuff. Other people running for president, that's stupid. Only
No, no,
Barack
no.
Obama and Mitt Romney, that's smart.
Running, that's fine, but I don't care about that. Just don't vote for them.
I would
Yeah.
vote. What's wrong with Roseanne Barr compared to the guy?
She's not going to win.
Yeah, she's definitely not going to win.
So yeah, right. Why bother paying attention to her if she's not going to win? Right?
Exactly.
You shouldn't
That's
pay
what I'm
attention
saying.
to things that aren't winning due to the popular vote.
That's what I'm saying.
I read somewhere that the popular vote might be so close that it might come down to the electoral college too.
It might come down to arm wrestling. It's going to get
No, like all this stuff about voting, and then at the end it'll be like, it's so close, it doesn't matter because we already kind of picked this guy. Like,
I think that they say that every year, but it does seem close, based on the polling that's out there currently.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched politics pretty
Save
intensely, but
yourselves the trouble.
I couldn't tell you either way. Which
Just start a carnival.
Obama's up but it's like, like 51-49 and a 2% error
ahead,
rate.
burst
You know what I
the
mean?
bubble.
So it's like,
It's not
either
worth
way.
your breath.
And I'm sick of all these Tammy Baldwin. Tammy Baldwin. Yeah.
You're damn right.
Yeah.
You're damn right.
I'm so sick of those. And the 9/11 ones where it's like,
Where's the Al
way to-
Pacino version of that? I want to see that.
Way to politicize 9/11, Tommy Thompson. Way to go. Like,
Well, what does
she voted
9/11
against-
exist for anymore than to politicize it? It's not like
Yeah,
it means anything to anybody anymore.
I think it still means something to the people who lost folks in
Right,
that.
yeah.
You know what I
People
mean?
it means
who
something
lived
to
through
them,
New York,
but like they're not
absolutely.
very happy at the people who expropriated for their own good.
Exactly. That's what we're saying. Like, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's terrible.
You're agreeing with us in a very aggressive manner. You're just like agreeing with us tonight and like feeling like, yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Stop agreeing with me angrily. Just agree with me happily. That'd be great.
And
I
another
just wanted
thing,
to
yeah,
stop.
that's
I've
what we
reached
were-
my threshold for it. I haven't even had a TV, and I can still hear it coming out of people's radios. I can hear it coming out of people's windows. I can hear it everywhere.
Yeah.
I just wanted to stop.
I know my Twitter feed has been just clogged with all this.
Yeah, there's been a lot on Twitter lately.
Tons
It's
of stuff.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you may have hit your threshold, but like also, you know,
Oxy looks
who-
like a
like-
sweaty, angry dude.
I was just
like
gonna
a
say-
sweaty, angry, paranoid, anxious guy.
yeah, I was gonna say like they don't care about you, Jason, and that's the point.
I know.
Like-
Michael Jackson's a prophet. He said that in '95. They just don't care about us.
Vote for Michael Jackson then. That's great. No, vote as Michael Jackson.
I'm voting for the man in the mirror.
That's right.
Actually, that's where I'm starting right there.
That's a good place to start. You gotta make a change. Man,
Be the change you want to see in the world.
that was
Yeah.
not Michael Jackson. That was
No.
Gandhi. Pretty
Another
sure that
guy
was
who
Gandhi.
didn't eat and looked weird.
Like, another guy you should vote for, I think.
Yeah, Gandhi. Yeah, a lot of people voted for him.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
No.
true.
Yep. No.
Ben Kingsley. Give me
I
a
would
vote.
vote for Ben Kingsley.
We all would vote for
Oh
Ben Kingsley.
man,
Too bad
what
he's.
would happen? Let's start that. Let's get
Might be a
hashtag
little late.
Kingsley for Preds.
Is he American?
I think he's an immortal. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
maybe,
if he's
I don't
really
know.
from anywhere.
If
He's
he is-
from everywhere.
If he is American, he's got one of those like Madonna American accents, where it's like British, quasi-British American accent. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying.
Why has no one kicked her in her teeth yet? Like, if she really wants to be British, why does she get to keep her teeth? Like, I don't understand. Like, you want to talk like them? Fine, have a
good
jacked
point.
up jaw. Bam! Welcome to the good country.
Man, I saw like a video or a picture of Madonna from like circa 1988. I was like, oh man, she was really attractive at one point.
She was so hot.
I was like, oh man, that's
Crazy
so weird.
hot she was. Right, we're gonna be ugly like she is now someday too. And we,
I'm ugly like she is now. That's the thing.
yeah.
Because you
Still
were,
have
you
that
were a
heart.
looker in '88.
Yeah, in '88. It was a hot
Oh
4-year-old.
snap! I have these like I don't know where these come from and why they exist. I have these like pro shots of me and like I'm maybe 4 in Oshkosh Bagosh, but it's like really soft focus. It's like glamour shots for
babies.
Oshkosh Bagosh. They're really cute, but they're really ugly. They're really strange.
Kind of
I
like
just
the
thought that-
Oshkosh Bagosh overalls I have.
Right, but they weren't as big as yours.
Well, right. Spider made for adults.
I didn't realize they made them for adults, which is why I was so baffled that I saw you in a pair.
Yeah.
When were you? You
Best
were wearing
$4 I ever
overalls.
spent.
When was this?
He was
was,
trying out for Too Fast and Furious the musical.
Yeah. The Kid and Play needed a third person. So
Oh,
I was
really?
like,
You wear over? You have overalls now that you
Paul
wear?
Yeah.
Walker, right, dog? What? He's gonna be Tyrese.
Wait, that's too. Oh, I thought you said house party
Dog,
earlier.
you about to say you get to burn his overalls?
no, I have a really cool pair of corduroy Oshkosh Bagosh overalls, and they're really awesome.
What color are they?
Beige.
Oh wow, that's creepy. That's
it's,
like creepy.
It's awesome.
That's,
Is it?
Yes,
wear
yes,
them
for? It's awesome.
Yes, it is. I was
I'm with you.
cleaning a house for Jason, so I was like, they have so many pockets. It was so cool. There's
They
like
do
40
have a lot of
pockets.
pockets. They do have a lot of pockets.
And then
That's kind of
there's
their selling point.
There's a thing. There's like one of
cargo
those
bib.
hammer loops. Like a hammer loop, and
Yeah, hammer
I was,
loop.
For carrying a hammer.
Yeah, and I was like doing.
You
work-
carry a lot of hammers.
I was doing work at his house, and I was like, man, I don't have a hammer, but I have this loop. Like, I should have a hammer. Like, why don't I have one? I have a spot to hold it and everything.
Fair enough.
Disappointed in
You-
myself.
Now
Oh
you-
man, you know what? That's weird because you've got a mouth, but like you don't own a gun, and you should kill yourself. Oh man.
I can't figure out the best part was the immediate dark turn or the fact that he said put a gun in your mouth and kill yourself. You both giggled like schoolgirls.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna blow my brains out of the back of my skull.
I was
Oh,
just,
that's always a good joke.
yeah, I just pictured it in my head, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's funny. Good stuff. Good
Instincts Bye
times.
Bye Bye plays in the background.
Good times. Good times. Yeah. Thank you for the cookies, Sarah. These are very good.
Yeah, they're very good.
Gluten-free cookies.
They are delicious.
They are
I've had like
delicious.
9.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want to take any.
Man, I tell you, these kind of cookies. This is the kind of thing I'd want to have around if I was stuck in a Frankenstorm. Right, you guys? Transitions.
Transitions, very nice.
at home.
Have you been following the storm coverage?
Yeah, I have.
I want
been
a
crazy.
Hurricane Sandy. I bet those are delicious.
Oh man, like a pecan sandy? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Jason,
nice to know.
that's the best joke you've ever made on this radio show. It tied in cookies and what we were talking about.
It's no Amber Crumbs and Fitch.
Oh man.
Wait,
Oh
did you
man.
just take my glory as soon as I realized it?
No, I was saying yours.
That
is
was
better.
my peak, and you took it away.
That
from
was
me.
your peak. It was two things that we were talking about at once that you commented on. I'm flabbergasted. You know what's funny? You mentioned like you're.
Hey, comic, I'm surprised you were funny. Congratulations for being funny, comic.
That's
Surprised
right.
you're funny, because usually you're not.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's just usually eating.
I don't
over
even
there.
know why you're on this show, but now you've justified your existence.
You had to have written that down. You wrote that down.
You know what, Eric? Do kill yourself. We can handle it. You're fine. Yeah, my girlfriend was saying that like she was watching the coverage and she was like, I'm kind of jealous of these people who just get to lay in bed all warm all day. I was like, they don't have any power. Like their food's all spoiling.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, yeah, but can you imagine just cuddling all day? It's like, oh my god.
She's very weird. You got a weird one there.
They were
New
saying,
York's underwater.
She just likes blankets.
It's bloody underwater. That
They
one.
were saying there's tons of water on like the
Holy
subways. And
balls.
stuff. Yeah, it's pretty.
I mean, New York. I don't know if you guys know this. New York is very
Roland
big.
Emmerich is a prophet.
Who? What? Where? Stop saying profit. This is like 3 times. And you're not voting Republican, so you can't say profit more times. That's terrible.
I get it.
This storm
Yeah,
was
that's pretty
sponsored by
bad.
Bain.
Yeah, Bain. There you go.
Not Bain Enterprise. I mean, like Bain.
Bain.
Not Bain Capital.
Reckoning. That guy.
Reckoning.
I saw a thing for Hurricane Sandy though. Like a substation blew up in New York. And there's
What?
a crazy video of just like a.
Where are they gonna get their sandwiches?
Yeah, I know. Because the subway was all underwater, right?
Right? You know what's strange is like, obviously they blow out of proportion, and by they I mean any news corporation, any weather event, and especially if it's on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, until it actually hit and there was footage, I was like, it's probably just a sprinkle. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
But then like seeing the pictures of it,
You didn't actually think New York would be attacked like with underwater, right?
No.
Yeah.
Because we're from the Midwest. We're like, yeah, we have tornadoes. We know, like, we know that stuff can get crazy. Like, and we have actual winter. Like, I'm sorry, New York. It's not the same.
West Virginia got like 2 feet of snow. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, yeah, welcome to Wisconsin. 2 feet of snow ain't nothing.
Yeah. Get your snow machines out. Oh, you don't have them? Invest. But I thought the interesting part was that, like, part of New York wasn't underwater. But like the whole city is basically shut down. So I was just thinking, like, what if your block was like totally, like, not totally fine, but relatively fine? Maybe you didn't have power, but you could get around. Like, you still are not supposed to go outside at all.
Yeah.
You know?
Or what if you worked on
Like
part,
city,
like, in
one
Manhattan,
of the busiest cities in the world, like bustling ant colony-esque New York,
Yeah.
totally vanilla sky. Like
Empty.
yeah.
But they are going to open the stock exchange tomorrow because it's the start of the fourth quarter. Thank God. Thank God.
And you guys, they extended the NFL trade deadline because the NFL operations was
I
closed.
Man,
did
they
see
really
that.
got
I
on
did
that.
see that. What if
So
you got?
Did
What
you
did
guys hear anything about all the displaced homeless people? Anything about that? No.
No. But the trade deadline they extended.
Yeah, it's big news. Big news.
Huge news.
Yeah. Hurricane Sandy can't stop the
Money's gonna start
NFL.
moving tomorrow again, right, guys? Right.
What happens if like? What happens if like you weren't gonna get traded and you're in the NFL and then a giant hurricane hits the eastern seaboard and then your team trades
Yeah,
you?
we had an extra day to think about it, and you're gone.
And hey, we're sending you to the Jets. You're like, okay. You leave tonight.
As soon as the airport opens, you're out of here.
Go wait at the airport. You'll have nowhere to live. And even worse, Tim Tebow's your quarterback. So there's that. You know what's crazy? There's like a hurricane act of God that's happening on the East Coast, and Tim Tebow might start this week. Coincidence?
Probably. Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
It's probably.
Can you do me a favor, Ryan? And play?
Well, why don't we take a break since we've powered through 40 minutes and Jason told the best joke I've ever heard.
Yeah, that
on
was.
this.
Yeah.
Not to be outdone by Eric and him being funny, but let's play some more of Often the Thinker because again we want you to go pick up their album.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
Can you
We like
find
it
them?
when you think about Often the Thinker, yeah.
Can you find them and then find the name of that album so I can say it too?
Boom. Often the Thinker's got some pretty sweet jams.
This
Pick
song is
up
called
jams.
This song
Pick
is
'em
called
up. Boom, boom,
I don't know,
boom,
but it's kind of a slow burn. So get into it.
boom,
Light a candle if you're on the East Coast. This might hit your spot.
It was completely opposite. There was no style, nothing to.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the show.
Easier to satisfy.
Welcome back. We took a little break there, get our wits about us, but that was Often the Thinker, and the album is called Lifelong Aside. So if you want to go pick that up, find Often the Thinker on Facebook, or you can find them, if you just Google it, you should be able to find where you can purchase
Walking
that.
down the street, too.
I'm not sure if you can get it on iTunes yet, but definitely seek it out if that's your kind of music. We would definitely want to support them. But I think is this the person? This has to be the person, right? This,
Oh, yeah.
This has to be Pinkerton. Do you want to sit over by me, Jason, or what do you want to do here?
Yeah, sure. Let's switch spots here.
Well, let's see. Let's play a musical interlude to adjust ourselves.
Okay.
Here we go. This is not Often the Thinker. We're back already. We are back already.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome back. You're back to the Killer Radio Show. You can tweet us at Cast of Killers, #Killer Radio. We're being joined now by Pinkerton. Pinkerton, is that what you want to go by? Full Pinkerton?
Pinkerton's fine.
All right, Pinkerton is fine. Good. Are you not
What's your the full name? It's like Sir
Sir Pinkerton Zaloma.
Zaloma. That's what it is.
Taloma?
It's like a xylophone.
Yeah.
XYLOMA.
Because I always read that, and I'm always like, how do you pronounce that?
Yes, it's
was
like
like Zaloma.
it's like xylophone, but without a phone, and you add a ma.
Perfect explanation. I've never heard anything better. So, and you're with the Dead Man's Carnival?
Dead Man's Carnival.
Awesome.
I play the role of the MC, the host.
The Master of Ceremonies.
Indeed,
The
indeed.
Dead Man.
The Dead Man. So, it's like, can you, in a nutshell, can you explain what the Dead Man's Carnival is? Because I think a lot of people probably don't know who maybe are outside of the Milwaukee area. What would you, to somebody who's never heard of it, what would you say?
Yes, it's for all intents and purposes a modern vaudeville show. So it's a non-linear theatrical presentation of a bunch of one acts.
Sure.
You might have a comedian, then you'll have a burlesque dancer, you might have a fire eater, or a yo-yo expert. So it's a last haven for all.
He's your closer, though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The yo-yo expert.
There's some guys who are some yo-yo artists who are crazy. I mean, have you ever been to Japan before?
No, I haven't.
But yeah, so it's sort of a last haven for all of the lost arts. You know, there's like, where did the yodeling tap dancer go? Well,
They're at the Dead Man's
we'll hire
Carnival.
A Voltron of old carnival acts.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. Did you have a question?
I sure did.
Rapid fire.
What is the? You guys are obviously very prolific right now. I mean, you guys put on a number of shows. You're recording shows right now. You performed at Turner Hall.
Miramar?
What's been the evolution of that, and what have been those steps?
Well, realistically, the main reason we're doing what we do is because there's no way it would be even remotely fiscally possible to take a show this big on the road. I mean, we don't have the type of underwriting that like Cirque du Soleil does or something like this. So
Yeah.
instead, our thought was we'd focus on
Those leotards are super expensive.
all those sequins, baby. So yeah, we figure instead of going other places, we'll try to just sort of bring all of our friends from around the country here for Milwaukee's artistic benefit, and then share that with people who, want to follow us once we get our webcast show rolling, which hopefully will happen someday.
What was your first show like?
Our first show was at a little anarchist bookshop collective here in Milwaukee called the Cream City Collectives, who's having their eviction party tomorrow.
Oh, no.
They've been around basically the exact same length of time the Carnival has, so we're kind of like cousins or something.
Yeah.
And we were a part of a puppet show, and we were brought out and we did an act where we took all of the skills that we had and tried to put it into a convoluted plot, and it was a horrible disaster. I mean, it was amusing as all can be, but like in the realm of theatrical success, we weren't really on the top of the pyramid. So we like had a zombie escape from a straitjacket and eat everyone is really the end premise of it. And I have a scar on my back from that show because as a dead corpse I had to get dragged across this gross glass-laden crusty floor, and it gave me like this really nasty like road burn rash that
Wow.
Glass.
I mean, you didn't
Yeah.
have to.
I mean, it's important not to break character, you know?
Yeah, I mean, how long were you being dragged like that, and how long was your back being ripped open, and how long were you not going, ah!
30 feet?
That's real blood,
30
guys.
feet,
That's
oh.
real blood.
Congratulations.
Yes. I mean, if I had been
Dedication.
clothed, it might have helped.
Yeah. Oh.
What is that, though?
Yeah.
That was a combination of many acts. I was not. It was not
Very
a boy last
transcendent.
bit. It was. I don't even remember why I didn't have my shirt on, to be honest.
It's all for the show. So, you know, the Dead Man's Carnival, obviously it's evolved since then. What are some of the wildest acts that you've seen on stage that maybe you didn't think would have presented themselves to you? But
Well, it's a weird thing. I mean, my whole.
it is a weird thing from what I've heard, but a good thing.
I mean, my whole approach is I have like a concept and it's appropriate to the setting. It's sort of like a movie store. You go into a movie store, you have like your horror section.
I feel like you're just saying that because we're in a movie store.
No, this is true. This is actually the simile, the metaphor, whatever the appropriate literary expression is. You know, our show is like a video store. There's a horror section, there's an action section, there's a comedy section, there's a documentary section where you get educated on the legacy of the circus. And yes, there is like the adult section as well.
Yeah.
So I have like particular acts that hit on each of those parts of the spectrum of like what emotion the audience goes through.
Sure.
Like one of our staple performances is a guy named Sanjula, and me and him did America's Got Talent earlier this year.
Oh, no. That's awesome.
And so we did,
Oh wait, I thought you were making a Sanjaya joke.
no,
So I was mocking your joke.
no, Sanjula is apparently, if I can believe a word that comes out of his mouth, the Hindu word for beautiful.
Okay, all right.
Ryan Mason is a dick. Let's just get that out in the open.
Put that out there.
All right.
So you did,
Which is not a profanity, by the way.
but you did
That one
America.
is
You
so
did
true.
America's Got Talent.
Yeah, we did America's Got Talent.
That's awesome.
They brought us out to do a version of the classic sideshow staple, the human pincushion.
Sure.
But Sanjula's version of this act, he used sharpened bicycle spokes, and he basically pushes a bicycle spoke through the bottom of his jaw. Mm-hmm. And we did this.
Sounds horrible.
We did this act on many occasions, and my favorite occasion this act ever happened was we were doing a Halloween show at this like mixed crowd. There's a lot of people who weren't used to this type of stuff. Like we'll call it a jock bar for all intents and purposes.
Sure.
And there's this really big like like beefcakey dude who was really nice, who just for whatever reason couldn't handle it and passed out and bashed his head against a table.
So you hired him. You're like, you're head basher.
So it was like it fulfilled like my sort of bucket list where I always wanted to have like our show make someone pass out, but it was more
Yeah,
like
right on.
it was more like I wanted it like in the Elvis type way, like oh I'm so worked up I fainted, but
Yeah.
in this
No,
case
you're just such a pussy.
Yeah.
Couldn't handle it.
Kind of like if you're a comic and you like somebody heckles you and you heckle them back and then you walk them out of the comedy club. Kind of like
Yeah,
that thing where
that's a classic.
yeah.
yeah exactly
Oh yeah, that's Tosh, right? Wait, what happened?
What now?
I'm just saying like it's like a rite of passage as a comic
Yeah.
to have somebody walk out on your set because you offended them or something like that.
Oh, I
Same
made
deal,
I made a woman cry.
so we'll
But he made somebody pass out. Like,
well, I mean, I didn't personally. I just was there. But so we'll call that
It
like
counts, it counts,
on the
yeah.
extreme end. That was like a total unexpected. Like what do we do from there? And
was he okay? Was he, like,
was totally
bleeding or something?
he was totally fine. Like he like woke up pretty much right away and was like,
Okay.
what happened?
You guys are like, sign this, please.
But the funny thing is like, so Sanjula has like all these bicycle spokes through his face, and he's sitting here like cracking jokes, so it doesn't become like too intense of a situation. Like,
Sure.
like if anyone needs assistance, I'm a certified paramedic, which is true.
You have to be.
And then he's like, look at this guy, look at the nerve of him trying to upstage me.
Yeah. So there's a softer side to the Dead Man's Carnival.
Yeah, definitely. And on on the other side of the spectrum, I mean, we've had like some really beautiful traditional circus arts. We've had aerial silk artists. We've had people do like really powerful like ballet duets. We've had a local gentleman named Eli Leon, who now lives in San Francisco, does a sort of rare circus stunt called the Rossier. It's kind of like Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. So you have like the person in the ring, but then he just manipulates the ring in these ways that are like completely gravity defying and awe-inspiring. So it's like one of these acts, like I've seen people like crying while he was doing it, and it's like totally unexpected.
That's
Sure.
awesome.
So it seems like that obviously
Steve, look that up.
obviously
So
there's
cool.
Rossier, it's R-O-U-R space C-Y-R, proving once and for all that carnies can't spell.
So you consider yourself a carny? Is that a term of endearment for you?
I mean, definitively. I mean, we get a lot of people who call the group Dead Man's Circus instead of Dead Man's Carnival because we have so many traditional circus acts
Sure.
and stuff like this. And
Do you wish for like people to give more credit to the carnival acts as a whole, as opposed to just your specific contribution to it? You know what I mean?
oh, definitely. I mean, I think that it's an art form that even if it's not like as popular as, let's say, America's Next Model or whatever is, whatever the kids are watching nowadays.
Very popular.
Skeleton of the month, yeah.
The next one's going to be all men. Did you know this?
Oh, really?
That's a fact, but go on.
That's interesting.
You're an awful person.
But
You're the worst.
It's on topic, though.
there's definitely an upswing for interest in like the circus carnival aesthetic.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it be like Britney Spears, the White Stripes, the Smashing Pumpkins, whoever, like
theater.
everyone kind of wants like a piece of that aesthetic.
Yeah.
The increased popularity of like the steampunk aesthetic, which is like once again sort of like a spin-off of that era, that like 1850s, 1870s sort of golden era of American entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, what's good for the geese is good for the gander, right? I mean, if circus is in the popular consciousness, then and carnival acts are in the popular consciousness, it's good for you. And to be quite frank, like if vaudeville became popular, it would be good for comedy.
Yeah.
I mean more popular than maybe what it's at this stage. But like I think
all those fellas who've been writing jokes for popsicle sticks will finally get the recognition they deserve.
that's right. That's right. If I could get that job though, like I would do it. I would do that.
There's an artistic movement that started in Milwaukee a little while ago, and everyone, it's like, I feel like it was dead when I came here, and all of a sudden now there's this rebirth of the renaissance of Milwauke's art scene. And you guys are definitely at the forefront of that, because I've watched you guys explode. I saw you guys do a really small show at Stonefly here, and now you guys have exploded forth. And I've seen a lot of different separate acts do that and get a lot of recognition for the city.
Well, this is true.
So I don't know what the point of that rant was, but thanks.
No, I mean, I
You're
think
the best.
I think that's definitely true. The Milwaukee's art scene comes and goes in waves. I mean, it's always had a very vibrant, like, underground music scene.
Yeah.
But, it can be a very stagnant form of expression. Like, there's definitely, like, a formulaic way that you're supposed to be in a band and, like, a predetermined sort of spectrum of response and the way the audience is allowed to interact with the show without being socially ostracized.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a part of why we got the amount of momentum we did is because it was something new. It's something where all of the rules weren't necessarily written yet, and it gave people a place to be. And it's the whole idea of being a sanctuary for all these like lost forms of expression sort of like allows people to rewrite their identities to some degree while they participate in the show.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that too, not just in live acts, but in culture in general. A lot of people looking to build fantasy into their own lives, whether it be through, dressing up as a certain thing, or for us, even going on stage, it may be an extension of ourselves, but it's generally the most, it's the most extreme extension of ourselves. I think everybody wants to develop that, or at least maybe it's not as hidden anymore. I think 10 years ago, you would have seen people who like to dress up as animals and meet each other. Might have been a little more cloistered. Now people have a little bit more freedom of expression.
Yeah.
Although I would say that like the mid to late '90s, like rave scene, even like Burning Man scene, was all about. And that'd been going on actually since like the '80s, but it really blew up in the late '90s. Like how that kind of was at the forefront of I don't know, like the transcendent man
Yeah,
kind of
I would definitely
abstract
agree.
art movement.
Yeah.
I would definitely. I think that the Burning Man phenomenon plays a major role in the repopulation of vaudeville and circus arts and burlesque.
I'm still gonna make fun of people who go to Burning Man, though. I'm just gonna put that out there. As a comic, like I still reserve the right to make fun of anybody,
Well, I think
especially you,
as
Steve.
a comic, you sort of have artistic license to make fun of it. Not
That's
even,
right,
not
I
even
do.
license, responsibility to
That's
make fun
right.
of everyone.
He's still got his learner's permit. Let's
Yeah, I
get
do
real.
kind of have my learner's permit. So do you feel a sense of protection with your group, or
Oh,
is it?
I mean, like-
do you guys kind of embrace the I guess
I mean,
getting it from the crowd? You know, like the heckle.
we don't almost ever get heckled, and I have no idea why.
Really? Never.
It's
We
like-
should say you're dressed kind of like a pirate right now.
Well, yes, this is true. I mean, like when I walk down the street, I get a lot of remarks.
Sure.
But usually they're like more warm spirited. I mean, it's not like
That's
when-
cool, not like you're a freak. You're like, oh,
Well,
that's
it's sort of
really
like,
neat.
you know,
They're
they'd be like,
"Oh,
Eric,
yeah."
that's really rude to our guest.
I mean,
oh, I didn't mean it.
I mean, like I work a lot of festivals. I've been, a lot of the primary variety performers in the show are veteran street performers. We had
Sure.
years with like crowd control and like just the idea of
They know
like,
how to handle themselves in those situations.
Yeah, I mean, where this isn't like, a lot of people who are in bands put all their focus on writing a song, and they become very prolific at writing a song, but creating the exact right environment in the room to deliver that is more of a skill set like someone like a comedian would develop.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like you go up there with just a microphone and your ability to convince people that they should follow you on a little adventure.
Right.
And that's very similar to like a street performer. Like it takes a lot of skill and it's hard to teach or explain the art.
But you have a little bit more control over that environment because you're building what the story arc is across the entire show,
Yeah.
correct? And to that extent, maybe you can talk a little bit about what it's like preparing a venue for your show, or is it just the stage that you're walking out onto?
Well, I mean, we have been very, very fortunate in having a lot of people who like regularly attend, and it has a sort of ritualistic quality to it. I mean, I probably should have pitched. I'm a terrible promoter. We do a monthly show.
You're an MC. You're a great promoter.
So there is this, so we generally do the first Fridays of each month, which is confusing because we don't actually do every single month, but during our season, it is every month.
Are you in season right now?
We're finishing our season. In fact, this Friday is going to be our season finale.
Is that like a big Halloween show or something? Or
It is Halloween themed in a vague sense. It's actually more Christmas Halloween themed.
Christmas Halloween.
We're doing a more traditional conception of a burlesque, not like a big strip tease, but like a very, very absurd body wrestling match with Jesus versus Santa Claus.
Don't give it all away.
That's just the tip of the iceberg, my friend.
Oh no.
But
That
it's,
sounds awesome.
yeah,
so it's a death match, basically based on the idea that if the Mayan calendar prediction of the end of the world is true, then this long-standing grudge between Jesus and Santa needs to be settled once and for all. So
It
we know
does,
who the
really.
final king of Christmas is.
That's amazing.
I don't know what to ask
this
about
Friday?
that. That sounds
I mean,
amazing.
I'll put it in this context. I was so excited about this idea. I personally have poured like $800 into building a ring and buying costumes,
Right.
and like
Yeah.
just for one act.
I personally sunk $8
Yeah.
in building this ring.
Yeah. No, $800. That's
It's
gonna be
hardware
nuts.
ain't cheap, you know.
So when is it?
Yeah.
This Friday? That's this Friday?
This Friday, 8 o'clock.
I don't care. That sounds fucking awesome.
Miramar Theater, yeah, this Friday.
on.
And we'll have regular circus acts too. We'll have Sanjula, the fella I mentioned earlier, and we have basically like a 30-person circus show with a live band. So it's going to be.
Who's your
well,
band? Do you know?
The band is Sir Pinkerton and the Magnificents.
Oh, any
although
relation?
we currently are have some fan competitions.
So humble too, you know.
Hey, you notice that's not Sir Pinkerton the Magnificent and whoever these guys are. It's me and then those dudes who are awesome.
It's just you.
In fact, I'm not
So
allowed to be in the awesome party. It's just kind of like, we're awesome, and then there's this guy we let talk for us.
That's right on.
But
So,
so
were
we have
you-
a competition running to change the band name. And when anyone suggests a name we like enough, You win a season pass to the show and a CD when we make our new one.
Season pass.
Excellent. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How long does your season run?
Which will reasonably live up to your expectations.
Yes.
How long does your season run then? Like, what is the season
well,
for you guys?
next season is going to be February through November, so we're really only taking December off, and that's just because we have like a month where we do an amateur talent competition and a fundraising dinner and
to see what the next year will be. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
There must be some planning aspects to it, but do you tend to see that you change the shows based on what you've seen? Like, do you invite people that you go out and see to come into your act?
Oh, big time. I spend a lot of time scouting. I mean, I travel around the Midwest and go see other shows. Like, I just sort of try to connect with as many people as I can.
You're like a fight promoter, kind of.
Yeah.
Like you go out and you see somebody like, this one's got a good right hook.
Yeah, it's
and
like
except it's yo-yos.
Like the Tyler Durden of the circus world.
Yeah, recruiting. I was gonna say you're kind of like you're like a
Les Miles?
Yeah, you're like Les Miles. So you're like a football coach. Like, will you show up in somebody's living room and be like, "Hey, little Johnny's got a lot of promise when it comes to sticking nails into his head. I think we got a spot for him. I'll tell you what, he's not gonna ride the bench."
I can aspire to get there someday. I say that.
I hope you do. I hope you do. Oh man.
Your
So
kid's got that soft time
Yeah.
we go for.
we want him in the circus, in the carnival.
It's our hope to do a foreign exchange program of sorts, because we're not the only people out there who have been affected by the sort of like wave of collective consciousness repopularization of this. You know, there's a lot of burlesque troops, a lot of fire troops, there's a lot of puppet shows, there's a lot of stuff out there of people doing interesting stuff who just need, you know, shown where a good audience is.
Right on.
When you say fire troops, I mean, like, I kind of have an image of what that is, but like, exactly what
You're
is.
thinking Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
So that's a flaming troop.
Huge difference.
Yeah, humongous.
Yes. So yeah, a fire troop. I mean, generally, this is definitely something very influenced by the Burning Man momentum. But you get people who do prop manipulation, whether it be like staff, poi, fire eating, breathing, rope dart. Basically, any object you can do a dance with and light on fire, someone's done it. You know.
I'm in.
Hula hoops. when we used to
You're in right now until you burn yourself.
You just want to set your
I am
file on
out.
fire
I am
and
out.
flail around to like Pearl Jam.
I mean, and kicking back to the Stonefly thing, I mean, we used to do a regular show there, and we still have a very good relationship with them. We just sort of outgrew the venue or whatever.
Started a small fire in there, yes, you don't have to come back.
But something I miss about doing Stonefly is that they had this beautiful patio. They have a beautiful beer patio, so we'd have a band stage, a variety stage, and then a fire show outside.
Oh, cool.
And we had this homemade flamethrower we made that looks like a Ghostbusters backpack, and it's like pneumatically pressurized to throw like a 75-foot fireball. So unexpected stories jumping back to this.
And you still have your mustache.
Yes,
That's impressive, really.
You know,
Have you had any close calls? You like stop. You're like, well, you know, there's been a few times where this mustache nearly left me.
I don't get anywhere near the fire performance. I put my mustache all curly with hairspray. So.
Yeah, do you have like a little like a stash protector that you like invisible tape that you put over it?
No, it would.
Protect
Just,
it?
I should. I'll invest in that.
That's it. Yeah, next.
I'll put my crack team commandos on that one.
I made a homemade flamethrower once.
I thought you were going to say you made a
What
homemade
was it? It was.
I filled a super soaker full of gasoline.
Bad idea.
and then took a lighter and just pumped it a couple times and sprayed it.
We should say it's really boring in Marinette.
Yeah, and
Would
Marinette.
you
And then it caught on fire and my buddy threw it and then
We
like
got, like,
lit like a
camera
bunch
on
of stuff
your
on fire.
face
It was awesome.
while you're telling this story.
You should have
I've
put that
never
in your
seen
reel.
So much glee on a person's
No, 'cause it
face
was
when you're
awesome.
describing
It
filling a
was-
super soaker full of flammable liquids and
Because the whole time we were like, this is a terrible idea, this is a terrible idea, as we're filling it up.
And then you're like, all right, let's go. Have you had those moments where you know it's a bad idea?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
This is a bad idea. And you stick on spikes.
We've made a lot of props. We don't have much of a budget to speak of, so we fabricate a lot of our own props, costumes. Basically, everything's done in house, from website to web design to graphic design.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so anyways, we're using this gigantic flamethrower, and Stonefly's like a 2 or 3 story tall building, but
Right.
the flame was like substantially taller than the building, and there's just a neighborhood kid who's out at 10 o'clock at night for no reason, just doing a wheelie down the street. and he sees this gigantic fireball and just basically just falls over. I didn't know if I was gonna be like, should I go see if the kid's all right, or should I like make?
It's probably like the last thing he wanted. Like, hey, that was our fireball. I'm so real sorry about that.
I mean, it's like this is like a fall show, so it's like I'm standing like, I don't know, a substantial difference away. I'm like in the 20th row, and like my face is like hot, like I'm next to a campfire. It goes.
Oh my goodness.
So
So
like the neighbors didn't say anything, or they're like, "Hey, can you keep it down to like 30 feet with the flamethrower?" Like,
You know,
that's why the carnival packs up quick.
Yeah.
Right there. It's
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a long-standing tradition. So do you it sounds like
so
you have a really good sense of the history of not just vaudeville, but the carnival. What started your interest in that sort of area?
You know, it's hard to like go back and dissect something like that. It's sort of like a snowball effect where the longer you're interested in it, that makes sense for more and more reasons.
yeah.
But I've always been sort of a history nerd, and I can like look back now and be like, oh, when I was 5, this. But it's like all like inductive reasoning. It's all a bunch
Yeah,
of nonsense
yeah.
that I've convinced myself of. But I mean, definitively, being in the realm of wanting to be a circus performer, like I just kind of wanted to see what had been done already and like seek out inspiration. During the golden era of the circus and vaudeville and the Industrial Revolution and all of that, the world was a very exciting place artistically. You know, the people's work ethic was like, you know, like you can't compare it to anything really.
No, I mean, like we've talked about it on this show before that, like, and we talked about it with Ryan Lowe, that, you know, there are vaudeville jokes that were written at that time that are still used regularly, whether it be in television or
sitcoms,
wherever.
and, The Simpsons and all this.
It's
they
the
were stuff a
same
lot.
jokes that
Yeah.
were written at that time, and it's strange that there were other jokes written later that I think get reused, you know, very frequently. Airplane jokes would be my other example. Like those get used constantly.
Right.
But that was a time in history when there were jokes that were written that may never be surpassed in the amount of times that they've been told.
Abbott and Costello.
Yeah.
Oh, agreed. And even by the time they got to the Hollywood era and were in film, they already were old jokes, you know?
Right.
You look at someone like Charlie Chaplin, you look at someone who's obviously part of the evolutionary chain of that mode of comedy, like Jim Carrey. Even no matter as funny as it is, it's just a watered down version of
Is he gonna hit this? I think he's gonna hit this car.
Again, this is on the radio,
this
guys.
physical comedy that's happening right in front of us. There's a van that's attempting to fit into a space that
Way too small. Way too small.
I think he's gonna make it. I mean,
Think he's gonna make it?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's got
yeah.
a lot of room on this car in the front here.
yeah, I mean, that's an
The car's
impressive
back, I
parallel
don't know.
parking. That's
And he might be doing a great job.
This is a big part of our radio show, is these guys watching parallel parking.
Oh,
It's
I
a
mean,
huge part.
you know, the-
Fans really tune in.
Yeah.
I had
Oh! Oh!
So yeah, I on that relative term, the first time I ever learned how to drive, I should also point out I didn't have my driver's license. I was at an anarchist book fair, which directly ties
That's
into
exactly
the first,
when you want to get the itch to drive.
the first
Away.
circus show I ever did. The first circus show I ever performed at was at this anarchist book fair in 2001 called Matches and Mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
And it also was the same time that I first drove this terrible, huge red punk rock van that had profanities and 12-inch letters written on the side that I can't say on the radio.
Yeah, you did.
And
Jason
then,
already said those words.
so I had to like parallel park this thing with it had no steering fluid whatsoever.
Sure.
So like the power steering was completely out, and I had to do it in rush hour Chicago traffic.
That's how you learn.
And then I was like super stressed out because we were like late for the show, which, you know, apparently is completely acceptable in anarchist book fair.
You guys, we're late for the anarchist book fair.
No rules, but be on time.
And I got
Yeah.
like thrown on like last minute because it was just sort of like, it had this chaotic punk rock aesthetic to it where, you know, everything was sort of being figured out on the fly. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to do this. You know, there's like no set list, no production plan, no like no
Right.
real idea. It's just, but it
Poor
added to
planning.
the excitement and the tension, like sort of there's already sort of like a natural high that comes to the theater with like surviving the chaos of like pre-show momentum.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So like is like that magnified beyond anything I've ever seen.
Plus
Just
a
like-
couple of cabbies cursing at you.
It's
Plus
like
that.
just sheer chaos. I mean, like, yeah, exactly. Cabbies like.
So have
freaking
you
out.
learned from those moments that it sounds like the carnival, it's controlled chaos. It's
Oh yeah, definitely. At this point, I'm like neurotically micromanaging.
yeah. Do you find that that's a necessary evil for you, or is it just a necessary thing for a show to be productive?
I think it's a double-edged sword. It plays a really valuable role up until a point, but you need to be able to put it in check because there's times where it's just not productive. There's sometimes where you just need to let go and say, well,
Call an
the
audible.
plan has changed now, so let's figure it out later and try not to make it happen again. And
Do you plan for those kind of things to happen?
as best as able, I mean, we've
Because you
learned-
must have some really unique personalities within your show. Like
big time.
it must be like we have comics that we know are going to be tough.
Kyle Juarez, for instance.
Kyle Juarez, for example. Like we might have somebody come on stage that we don't know what's going to happen that night. Whether it's a person who maybe drinks too much or a person who is just a loose cannon.
a lot of the
Jeff
people.
Lambden.
I mean, we've been.
I'm not saying any
in
names.
the early years, we had
Who's
people
down
who
comedy?
partied a little hard, would drink somewhat, but we've never really had like any serious issues with someone like
Nobody
getting on
took their
stage
pants
like
off,
and incapable to perform, or like we've never had someone like bomb because they were like high or drunk or something. And that, I mean,
Well, that's different
part of
than
the
comedy.
reason that I end up in my position of like organizational management is because
Because you're always
I'm
bombed.
always sober because I'm straight edge, so it's like it makes sense for me to deal with the money at the end of the night.
Yeah, that's true.
And parallel park the car.
Yeah,
So
parallel
I-
park the
I
car.
feel like it's like going and doing a show with like your uncle or your mom or something. Like I feel like they like feel like there's always like a chaperone there because they're like, oh man, he's totally uptight. I guess we gotta actually like focus on doing the show.
But they must be
Let's
appreciative
do.
because that's their one place that's really shined a light on something that they want to
Yeah.
showcase. Like you do need somebody to facilitate. Like I know for us it's like, oh man, I got to go to this room. Well, those rooms are the rooms that we have to use because that's where we can do our art, if you want to call
Yeah,
telling
yeah.
fart jokes art.
And if
And
like
no,
somebody gets
like,
too drunk, then it kind of like
rules are-
ruins.
I mean, we get what
Somebody
you're
gets too
saying.
drunk and bombs. It kind of ruins the show for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like then it's like,
Well,
wow, I'm leaving. This
yeah.
is out of control.
I'm not gonna say we've never had any shenanigans, but it's like never been a huge issue.
Yeah.
This is really disappointing to me because
It's usually at the after party people, some
That's when the
people who like
shenanigans
to
come
drink
out.
will drink, and those who like to whatever will whatever. But generally speaking, people are still having fun and hanging.
By whatever they mean, have sex on the bar.
that's right.
That's what they mean by that.
That's right.
That has happened, but what happens
course
in
it
New Orleans,
has.
you don't talk about.
I'm just disappointed that like the comics that we travel with are less put together than the carnival people who are traveling with fire. But that makes sense now
Yeah.
because they can't be shooting fireballs into the
This
bar.
is true. I mean, we've
Behind every chaotic carnival, there's you at the range.
There's a straight edge guy counting the money.
yeah, and we've never had like any serious injuries, which I'm very happy because we do a lot of acts that are really dangerous.
Knock
I
on
mean,
wood.
I mean, as I said, like even like the human pincushion, there's a number
Spikes,
of like lymph nodes, major arteries, like nerves that you do not want to pierce
Death
with.
places.
Yeah.
There's some death places in there, and there's a handful of many other things. I mean, we featured sword swallows, we featured basically anything you can imagine, and a whole bunch of stuff you just can't.
You ever do any suspension stuff?
We worked with suspension, but we've never like overtly featured it as a part of one of our presentations.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't like suspension. It's just there's a lot of setup, and then you just kind of just dangle there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like it's
And they
really-
play bad music behind you. Is that it?
Super intense for the person going through it, but I don't feel it really has like the bang and the showmanship. It's not intended to be
Right.
like a look at me. It's like more of like an internal, personal, like spiritual
Yeah.
challenge. So it's like it's awesome and it's intense, but it's like more like something you do that you walk past like an art exhibit.
Right.
Sure.
Actually, a friend of mine from Iowa that turned out to move forward in his life and be a tattooer and a piercer and a person who puts together suspension shows. Every time he posts pictures of places where he has suspensions, it's in art galleries. It's always in art galleries, no matter where he's at. It's always in these independent art galleries where they have suspension shows, and then they position the wires specifically around this group of paintings, and it turns into this giant piece of blah blah blah. But it's always interesting that they would put something like that inside of an art gallery because it's generally it's
true,
it's for the it's transcendent for the single person, but for everyone else, they're kind of like, okay, you're hanging there, good for you and your skin.
That's got to be intense though, like.
Yeah, I mean, I've
hang from
no,
hooks.
you know what? I take
I
it
would
back.
like to do
We've
it, but I
never
would
done
hate
a
to do it.
suspension, but we did do a show where Sanjula and his at that point girlfriend did a chest pull with each other, where you have the big hooks and then you basically like are pulling against each other.
Oh my goodness.
But he did his chest and she did her back, so like me and one of the other persons in the piercer are basically just sitting there like talking her through it, being like, okay, so like relax this, like at any point you feel like you want like less pressure, like so we had like a little safety code worked out.
Right.
And it was Sanjula's birthday, so he's making a bigger deal of it. And what he did is he actually like
He ripped her back
he
off.
like Jim Morrison. Well, no, he pushed himself like his weight like off of the back of the stage, like so to the point where he was like dangling, and then basically like had some kind of like these big ass shears, and like at the appropriate moment snip them so it like fell into the crowd like Messiah style.
Holy
And they
cow.
caught him?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like really, really intense, particularly because
Wow.
he had this like pre-recorded music of like this like traditional like fakir like tribal
Huey Lewis and the
drumming and
News.
chanting, and it was like super loud and like sort of like all-encompassing. Like no one was like breathing.
Yeah.
So it was
Holy
like
cow.
it was one of those situations where it wasn't something that you were just observing vicariously. It was
Right,
like
it was
everyone was
very
somehow
active
emotionally invested in it.
When you say
I don't know
like,
how I even forgot about that because it wasn't really a carnival production. It was a show that we were brought in as a guest. So
when you
That
say like
is
snip,
nuts.
like was it like part of his skin that they cut off or like?
No, like a
like
strings
the
that.
ropes,
String,
the rope,
okay.
the ropes that was attached.
Yeah, they cut his skin off,
That's what I
Eric.
was like, wait a minute.
This,
You never know.
This is totally not directly related to the carnival, but are you familiar with a guy named Marin Daggio?
No.
No.
He's one of
Is he a baseball player?
I'm afraid not. He is Marin Daggio is very well worth looking up. He is
Steve's on it.
Steve's on it.
What am I on?
How do you spell it?
Marin Daggio.
Daggio.
It's Mirandajo. And what he was is he was a Dutch
Elton Joe
like
Marin
religious
Daggio.
prophet who would take fencing coils without pain or blood and shove them through his entire body, and then like have like hundreds of doctors on spot like x-raying him being like, this is impossible, and then he'd take like a flat sword and have them shove it through his ribs, through his entire body, and he'd just sit there like, yeah, it doesn't hurt at all.
What a tough guy.
Whoa.
There was one guy that was like, dude, this is fake. Like one doctor.
Oh,
like,
big time. They tried to like debunk it, and
Right.
he was banned by the Dutch government for speaking at all because they figured like anything he said, like he'd get this like crazy religious fervent following, and he had this sort of like vague, ambiguous, like pseudo greater spirit, everyone world peace sort of message. He's actually pretty awesome. He's very into promoting was it Esperanto, like the universal
Yeah.
language.
Yeah.
That was like his big thing. Is like we all should speak this language. It'll unite people. Look, I cannot die.
I don't know how they're related, but right?
It's like really
Esperanto?
popular. When
But
was
he's
it?
this is in the it was right when film was first starting, so probably 30s, 40s. You look it up on Wikipedia. I can't remember the exact chronology of it, but
I read it in the 1900s and in France in like the 1800s that like there was professional flatulators. Have you read this?
Yes, it's a pantomime.
Yeah.
Yeah, he.
You're probably like the only person that I could bring that up to and be like, "Yep, I know what that
Yes,
is."
he could sing with his anus.
Yeah.
The funny thing
He
is,
was like a professional vaudevillian too.
well,
It's
they
like
make
people
fun of him
paid
now,
to see
but
that.
he was like a huge French celebrity in his day. He was like one of the highest paid entertainers when he was alive.
Really?
Like he was doing like royal command performances.
I would imagine.
And his like
Farting.
he could so he could like sing from places you're not supposed to be singing odorlessly. That was the main thing. They really
It's not like you
I'm sure they had to stress odorlessly, but once they got your money, it was like, hey, tonight there's gonna be odor.
there's-
No refunds.
it's one of those. It's a universal thing. It's not just children. Some people try to be a little too like highfalutin about it, but a good fart joke goes a long way.
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah,
I could
absolutely.
completely agree. You're in good company here. So as we wrap up here, this is great. I learned a lot and
Yeah.
it made me laugh too, which is great.
Made me squirm a little bit talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that's a testament to to the circus itself and to your group, because you touch on all emotions. You run the spectrum. So what is next though for your group? What do you want to bring to the people next?
We're hoping we had a pitch from various unnamed corporate entities who were interested in picking up the carnival as like a legit television show, and we basically turned them down because they wanted to like own the name. They wanted kind of the whole shenanigans, like we basically own your soul forever.
Right.
But the idea sort of was the catalyst, just being like, well, with modern day technology, why don't we just webcast our own show?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of like the direction that I'd like to take the show.
Where would you put it? Like,
On the internet.
Well, I mean,
River West Radio, right?
I think that they would be big enough to have a sort of a channel of sorts.
Collaboration is definitely something. Technology is not my realm. I spend too much time at the library. It's just
Sure.
that's why we have a large crew of people.
Somebody in your group is going to be the catalyst for that.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
It seems really interesting though. Like, I bet you that. I mean, I would check that out. That would be really rad.
yeah, I mean, I think with I picture it being sort of like a grittier version of like the Ed Sullivan show. Stuff where we're allowed to do kind of like an uncensored version of whatever people's act are. And I don't really encourage people to do particularly body blue material, but I don't discourage it either.
Sure.
I feel like, everything has its place and its time, and
Yeah, especially fart jokes.
yeah.
Well, is there anything that you want to promote?
Jokes are not a joke. They're just-
They're serious. Odorless. Odorless.
yeah, so I mean, I guess we're going to be continuing to do the first Fridays. November 2nd, a couple days from now, is going to be the season finale. It's a particularly big show.
At the Miramar, yeah.
Yeah, at the Miramar Theater, 8 o'clock, and so forth and so on. The first Friday of each month, starting in February, straight through, we'll be doing the same thing.
Very cool.
The band, the hosts, and then who knows, whoever we can convince to come from wherever to show their unique talent.
And how can people give ideas for the band? You said that you can rename the band. How do you?
Yeah, I
how
mean,
can you submit those? Because I got a couple.
Because we are technologically stupid, we do most
The
of our-
odorless farts.
Most of our stuff is through Facebook until we, get a new website up and running that I don't think looks like a
Do you guys have
high
a
school
Facebook?
graphics project.
But people can find you on Facebook and they can.
Facebook Dead Man's Carnival group. We post all of our shows. We keep a lot of fans put up videos.
Yeah, it must be nice. You can post your shows because there's not going to be two that are the same, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly it. It is a different show each time. I mean, I don't know any band, theater, anyone who except for maybe like an improv group who does like all new material once a month. I mean, it's
Right. Yeah,
ridiculous. I mean, most people spend their entire lives getting 5 minutes of good material together.
Lord knows Eric has. Still working on it.
I got my whole life ahead of me. I only got two now. So.
That's right. You guys, look, if I put my two and your two together, we just need Jason's one and we're
Yep.
set.
Yeah.
It's a
And I
full
feel like I
five.
probably should put the special note out there too that because we do so many shows, we kind of have like an open recruiting policy where, we try to collaborate with as many people as we can. We bring back some old favorites at every show, but we try to feature new performers at every show just so the ball keeps rolling.
Okay, well that's fantastic. I want to thank Pinkerton for coming on, and
Yeah,
this has been really informative.
Yeah,
and,
this has
and
been
like
awesome.
this has been a great episode.
Yeah.
Let's play him out with a little bit of music. I don't know what's gonna. Nothing will fit your persona and what you guys do, so I'm just gonna play something. I don't have anything like really scary. Okay, this song is called.
Walking in the sunshine, sing a little sunshine song.
This song is called Snowstorm. This is by the Elusive Parallelograms from Chicago.
Ready, here we go. We are back, the Cast of Killers radio program. We're just wrapping it up here. Going to say thank you to Sir Pinkerton Xyloma for coming in and talking to us about Carnival. Yeah, check that out on Friday. It's Jesus versus Santa. Wrestling death match. That's going to be, if you weren't listening before, Ultimate Celebrity Death Match. I'm pretty sure David Bowie's going to be there, or Jeremy J. I don't know. I always mix up the two. I don't know. But we're going to have a good program. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week. We got stuff happening this week. Oh, we got Karma's happening, right? For Karma is Friday. I realized that, and then I was like, oh, I'm promoting all the things on Friday. But also, Karma is on Friday. That's going to be a really good time. Stand-up superstar showcase at Duke and Dragon Punch.
Tomorrow at Comedy Cafe tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a thing that'll be happening.
Steve will be in Madison. Comedy on Stage. If you're over in Madison, checking it out.
That's the thing that'll be happening. All right, anybody else?
Hey, could you guys close this out slower? That'd be great. Bye, music from Often the Thinker, and this is The Good Night Lovin'. We'll see you guys next week.
All right. Hey,
Thank you.
Ryan Mason. Yeah. Gosh.